And sorry. And we are live. Hey guys, welcome back to Covenant Canon's monthly Q&A live stream. For those of you who don't, as always, I'm just gonna say this for everyone who is new here. Every month, I answer some questions from the Discord channel of Covenant Canon, and occasionally I also answer some questions in the live chat. But if you don't know where the Discord for Covenant Canon is, it is in the description box below. All I need to do is join up and have your question, post your questions in the Q&A submission page. There's a bunch of stuff in there in the Discord chat that you can just hang out with the Covenant Canon community. So, yeah. So, and for those of you wondering, I chose this specific weekend because I will be flying out. I don't know if you noticed from either Twitter or the community chat, the community page of YouTube, but I will be traveling out to the Halo World Championship in Seattle, so I chose this weekend beforehand to answer all your questions before I head out. And honestly, I'm very excited for it. Honestly, this is going to be my first time flying and seeing the wider Halo community since Outpost Discovery, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm also going to Keith David's going to be there, so my biggest hope right now is to get my Halloween Prophet's Bane signed by him. But yeah. Alright, before I proceed, I'm just going to pause so I can get the Discord questions up and the live chat up. Also, if you guys notice any bugs or any echoing or any of that stuff going on in the in the live stream, just let me know in the live chat so I can try to fix it as best I can. Alright, so and surprise, surprise, Supreme Commander, aka Colt, has no questions at the moment. That's very surprising. He's usually the first guy who always has a question to answer or to ask. Alright, so, let me start off with a question from Daniel110, who is also in the live chat. Hey, Daniel, how's it going, man? His question is, do you have any hot takes about Halo that you would like to share? Yes. The Covenant is honestly the more interesting faction of Halo, in my opinion. I feel that their culture, their history, and honestly their story arcs is way more interesting than the generic militaristic sci-fi of the UNSC and kind of the weirdness of the Forerunners. And also, honestly, thank you, Allosaurus? I think that's how you pronounce it. I think, I have noticed there's a bunch of echo things going on. I've been trying to reduce as much as I can, but unfortunately I have hardwood in my bedroom at the moment. I'm trying to reduce that. I have a carpet, but even still, it's still a bunch of an issue there. Sorry about that, man. I'll try to adjust my mic here, see if that might help. Doubtful, but alright, but back to Daniel's question. Oh, hello, Mr. Grunt. See, this is why I very much like the Young Boy. They're just so freaking adorable. Okay, but back to the question. To the hot take. Honestly, I find... Oh, and also, let me know if the volume is... If the volume, the game volume is too loud and it's muffling my voice. Please let me know that. But another hot take I have is I really don't like the whole humans are foreigner idea from the old Bungie era. I know this topic has been brought up many times in Halo, but I just want to make my stance on this clear. I much prefer the foreigners and humans as their own separate species and being like cousins to one another. Yeah, hey Nifty, I know, I've been trying to... Hang on, let me see. Shit, okay, hang on. Let me see if I can change something in a minute. Let me just... Maybe there's... No, not that. Alright, how's that? Is the echoing kind of diminished a little bit? Sorry about that, guys. I generally am trying to minimize the echo. But yeah, I think that's... Oh, hey, Minister. Do you have two audio sources? Do you have two audio sources? What do you mean by audio sources, noob? I don't quite understand the question. Oh, coming through desktop sound. Hang on. Sorry about this, guys. Let me just check to see if I can change this here. Hang on. Filter. Maybe that might be it. Let me see. Maybe if I adjust the volume a little bit. How's that? How's that? Sounds like it's doubled or something. Oh, OBS. Okay. No, it's just one. I do have my audio output capture and my NB mic itself. I'm not sure if, I'm not sure. Oh, it's still the same? God damn it. Okay, let me see, maybe if I can change this. There's a couple settings on my mic here. It's an Elgato. I'm not entirely sure why it's doing this now. Oh, hey, Brendan. How's it going, man? Alright, sorry about this. I hate these technical issues. Let me see if I can pop out your text chat. I don't see any two audios moving. I only see the one. Advanced settings on your mic. Okay, maybe that might be it. Okay. Let me see. There's a bunch of like balance and volume settings. You think I should lower the balance? I'm not entirely sure because I'm honestly... Oh, you're going to Worlds too? Oh, that's good. Good to hear, Brandon. It's good to hear. There's balance and there's sync offset, noob. I'm not entirely sure what to adjust here, because maybe if I, shit. Monitor off. Yeah, they're all set to monitor off right now. They're all set to that way right now. And tracks are all checked on to like 1 to 6 for each of them. Sorry about this, guys. Sorry about the technical issues right now. Oh, you're not going, Brandon? Oh, that's a shame. Sorry to hear that, man. But yeah, noob. Like I said, all the audio monitoring is off, and the tracks are all set to 1 to 6. Huh. Alright, well, I honestly don't know what to do at the moment. So, I'll try to adjust my audio a little bit. Turn it down a little bit. Maybe that might help a little bit. Sorry, it's all on PC, noob. Yeah, it could be something weird. I've always had this difficulty when it comes to live stream, the echoing a little bit. I've been trying to fix that as best I can. But all right, enough of the technical stuff. Let's move back to you don't have a tab. Might be unmuted. Wait, what? Don't have a tab of stream open. A tab of stream open on your chat. What does that mean? A tab of stream open on your chat? Oh, I did? Okay. Okay, cool. I guess it's just how OBS is. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really not good with these tech whiz stuff. Okay, now let's get back to the actual stream, so shall we? Okay, let's move on to Minister of Congression, which is British EXO in the live chat. How's it going, British? You doing good? Okay. Back to his question. How would you feel if playable brutes become a thing instead of playable elites? On one hand, it would be definitely interesting to see how that wall would play out. Oh, wait, I went in the opposite direction. Shit. On one hand, it would definitely be interesting. But as a diehard St. Healy fan, I would always prefer being a playable elites right now. But that is just my opinion on the matter. But I wouldn't be against it. I wouldn't. Though, like I said, my preference would always be to playable elites because the St. Healy are always awesome, and in my opinion, better than brutes. I will admit, brutes are really cool as a species, and more recently with the Banished and all that stuff. Alright. Let's move on to another question from Daniel. How do you think Thelvadam feels about the mark shame that he holds, considering that he now knows all that the humiliation blame was based on lies? I think in terms of the mark itself, I think Fel would be kind of mixed. He would kind of still view it as a shame, but as a shame but an unnecessary one. I'm not entirely certain that he would look on this mark of shame with pride as members of the Covenant Separatists did during the Great Schism. I think he would still look upon it with shame, but as a shame, an unnecessary shame that the prophets gave him, which I think would only increase his hatred against the Sanchayim themselves. Alright, there we go. Right, so we have a question from Beetle3, or I'm just gonna say Beetle. What do you think of the Slugmen, and have you worked with them? In terms of lore, I dig the Slugmen. That they're some an offshoot of the Legolo and the Hunters. As to Nakai Vodar actually working alongside them, Oh, I thought I fell. In terms of Nakai's in lore with Nakai, he was more of a commander. Well, before he became a shipmaster, he was a general and a field master. I think he might have worked alongside the Slugmen, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't at the moment right now. Their lore is still relatively new, and I can't remember like the whole specifics of their lore, if I'm to be honest. But oh jeez, these freaking big boys. I forget what they're called. If someone remembers, let me know in the chat. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. Alright, time to bail. Whoa. Okay, moving on to another question from Daniel. In your opinion, what would be a good setting for a Halo novel focused on exploring the legacy of Escharum before and possibly during the first years of the Banished? Good question. In terms of settings, I think it would probably be... That's a very good question, actually. I'm not entirely sure of a good book that would set Escherum's early life with the Banished when they were still like rebelling against the Covenant. I think it would have to be showing his relationship with Atriox. I think a good setting would be helping Atriox shape the Banished into what we know now. Oh, where do I go? Do I have to follow here? Oh, no, I don't. They're over here. In terms of actual settings and what they're doing, yeah, that's very difficult, actually. That's actually going to give me some time to think about it, but at the moment, I can't really give like a clear-cut answer on what kind of settings would be, but I think would have to, but in terms of a book, I think would have to emphasize, if in terms of settings, I think a book on Escharum during the early times of the Banished, I think it would, honestly, in a setting would have to be like Escharum helped guiding Atriox to form the Banished into the militaristic, survivalist aggressors that we know now. Probably in a way that the Covenant is breathing down their necks, even as the Covenant is waging their war against the UNSC. Oh, jeez, I gotta run from these guys. Oh, no! Oh, wait. Yeah. It's kind of difficult for me to give you a clear-cut answer there, Daniel. Maybe they're being pursued by the Silent Shadow and they're harassing, and a Covenant Fleetmaster is specifically tasked with hunting down the Banished. I've always think the Covenant wouldn't have let them go and not really bother with them. But I hope that answers you in some way. Probably not. Ooh, hang on. Let me try to evade these guys. Oh! Get away! Get away! Oh! Get away! I'll try and answer some more questions, guys. I just gotta get away from these guys. Ooh. Oh. Time to bob weave. Oh. Bob weave, bob weave. Get away. Get away.
Negative, ma'am. They are not Covenant. Cover that doorway.
Okay, time to go full cloaking. Alright. I think the danger has passed somewhat. Bed and Breakfast has a bunch of questions, which I will answer in just a moment. Right. Right, so Bed and Breakfast asks, do you think there should be some kind of explained media about the final battle between the Swords of St. Helios and the Servants of the Abiding Truth on St. Helios to bring the gap between Telcamp's assassination and the events of Legacy of Onyx, or would you think that's unnecessary? That's a very good question. Honestly, I think it would be kind of unnecessary, Bed and Breakfast, if I'm to be honest, because in my opinion, the Siege of Kolar greatly ruined the reputation of the Servants of the Abiding Truth after their shattering defeat at the Siege of Kolar in the Kilo 5 books. The defeat would definitely have shattered their reputation. And honestly, I don't think it would really be needed for another skirmish. If anything, given after the Siege of Kolar, I would imagine the servants would have been forced to do more hit-and-run campaigns rather than open combat like Jewel and Dama's Covenant have done in the past. Ooh, I'm just gonna fall down here. But yeah, I don't think it really needs to be said of any further engagements with the Servants and the Swords, in my opinion. Alright, so looking on to another question from Bed and Breakfast. How many brute colonies do you think there are? That's a very good question. The only brute colonies that we know of were the 3 moons of Doisak in the Altsonan system. Wariel, Tish, and Soyrant, I believe. But after the destruction of Doisak, those colonies have been rendered uninhabitable. But as to others, we do know that the prophets did give the brutes several colonies to settle upon. And I do know that Lydas and his children of Altsonan have settled on a former human colony. So that would technically count as a brute colony, somewhat. Not as big as any others, but at the moment, I don't think there's any known colonies out there. But as in terms of like size, I think it's fair to say that they're like severely limited compared to the St. Healy colonies. Alright. Freaking. Ah, there we go. Alright.
Forerunners be praised, the Arbiter. Quarantine zone has been compromised. We must do what we can against the flood.
Yep.
The commander has landed further in. Let us join him.
Artas Vadum. Okay, let's go see him. Oh, jeez. Come on. Freaking. Oh, come on. There we go. But yeah, back to the original question. The amount of brute colonies is surely severely limited compared to St. Healy colonies. Alright, another question from Bed and Breakfast is, do you know how many planets are in the joint occupied zone? I think I don't know the exact number, but I do know that they're mostly comprised within the former outer colonies of the UNSC. So I think it's fair to say that there would be a dozen planets within that system. for lack of a better comparison, I would compare the joint occupied zone to the neutral zones in Star Trek between the Klingon and Romulan empires. So I think it would be fair to say that the number of planets would generally be the same thing. And for those of you who have watched Star Trek shows or movies. But at present, I would say at least at least 100, I would say. Or probably within 100, like 50 or 100 range, I would say, in terms of like actual number of planets within the JOZ. Well, there's Phantom. Alright, so his last question is, do you know if the Covenant ever had colonies that hosted every species, and if so, how many do you think there were? I mean, it's generally possible that Covenant colonies had. I think it's fair to assume that the Covenant had. Covenant colonies did had like most, if not all, other species intertwined to one another. In terms of how many, I think it would be like at least half of the Covenant Empire had planets that hosted all the races. High Charity would definitely be counted amongst them. But in terms of... Oh, no! Oh, get off! Oh. Well, that was terrible on my part. I got caught in the claws. Run! Get away! Frickin' things love to claw on me. Giggity. Alright, but back to the question. We do know that High Charity did house most if not all the races of the Covenant in their city. But I do know that Malarok had at least Sangheili and Yanmi. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's unheard of that certain Covenant planets would had all the races together. Probably more segregated, but yeah. Alright, I'm just gonna pause so I can scroll down and answer some more questions. Alright, so we have Monty Nutty. Last name. The Moan Nutty S416. I'm just gonna call you Nutty for short. Are you planning a deep video on Covenant weapons? I am planning on. Funny you should ask this, Nutty. I'm actually working on doing more videos on Covenant weaponry. I'm trying to at least get more videos from Covenant weaponry. At present, I've done the energy sword and the plasma rifle. I'm kind of debating on what next to cover. Probably fuel rod cannons is probably the more likely. The fuel rod gun is probably the most likely. Is most likely the next weapon I'll cover. But yeah, in the future, I am definitely planning on doing more Covenant weaponry in the future. Right. So we have Corvus Jackson. He asked, oh, hang on. Sorry, Corvus. I just gotta get past these guys. Then I'll answer your questions. Oh, jeez, freaking rocket launchers. Oh, okay, time to get in that scorpion. Ah! There we go. Sorry, I'm just gonna answer your questions. I'll answer your questions. I just gotta take care of these guys. There we go. Oh, these stupid guys keep coming. These aggressors, or whatever the heck you call them. Wait. I know you're gonna try and suck on my thing. Come on. Oh, how did that not kill you? There we go. Alright. Alright, now I can answer your question, Corvus, sorry. Or not. Jeez. Freaking. Oh, stop hiding. There we go. Alright, so Corvus, sorry about that. Alright, are there any weapons from the expanded media you would like to see in-game? Good question. Honestly, I think I would like to see the curve blade come back. I've always liked the curve blade did kind of come back in Halo 5, but more as a intel item, not really much as a weapon. But I would very much like to have that weapon as, I could term, a melee weapon, kind of like we have with the Brute, with the Gravity Hammer. Another weapon I would like to see from the expanded media come into games, the Burn Blade. I've always liked them. For those of you who don't know, the Burn Blade is pretty much the precursor to the Energy Sword. And I honestly think I would very much like to see that weapon come back as it's kind of like a replacement, or kind of like an older, kind of like what we had, like an older type of weapon, kind of like what we had with the what is it called, the Lancer from Gears of War with the bayonet on it. I forget the name. Yeah, I would like to see something like that make a return. Come to the game. Yeah. Okay. Well, alright, I'm going to answer Nutty's question before I proceed further. Alright, are there any vehicles from the expanded media you would like to see in the game? Oh. Vehicles? That's a good question, and honestly, I don't know if they're... I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there's any cool vehicles I would like to see come back from the expanded media come into play. Oh, yes. The Revenant from Halo 4. That actually got canonized in the Halo encyclopedia, and I would honestly like to see that make an actual appearance in the game rather than as a cut vehicle in Halo 4, rather than simply just put into a book. I would very much like to see that more put into actual gameplay, because the Revenant was honestly my favorite vehicle in Halo Reach, and honestly I would love to see that vehicle come back. Haha. Okay, I'm running. Right. Madam Matem. Yeah, I think that's Matem. He asked, where is Lytus and his clan right now? I actually answered that question a bit, Matem. Lytus and the children of Osonin, they did survive the destruction of Doisak, and they are being relocated on a former human colony at the moment. But I do believe that they have like some sentries overlooking the ruins of Doisak even now. So, hope that answers your question there, Matem. Right, I'm gonna get on to more questions, but right now I'm being hammered by these sentinels. Okay. Hang on. Oh, jeez, these freaking rockets. Alright, you're mine. Okay. Ugh. Alright, just gonna move out of the way. Oh, Jesus. Oh, these stupid floods. Oh. And here comes cavalry. Alright. So, Beetle asks, Nakai, do you prefer metric, imperial, or American measurements? Well, seeing as I'm American, I think that's I think the answer's pretty obvious. It's going to be, the American measurements, which I think it's imperial, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's imperial measurements. Let me know if I'm wrong in the live chat, guys. Because I'm honestly not that educated in that matter. On the difference between imperial and American. I'm fairly certain they're the same. Fairly certain. Don't quote me. Oh, there we go. Alright. Right. Okay. If I mispronounce this thing, please don't crucify me this. Ulek Unum? Ulek Unum. I think that's it. Okay, Ulek Unum asks, I know we don't talk about the Halo TV show, but what's your take on the Covenant from that show? Right. I honestly, in terms of the Halo TV show, I have a lot of misgivings with the TV show, as some of you may have seen from my social media. But I will admit, they did a pretty decent job with the Covenant. Like, sure, there are certain aesthetics that I'm not too fond of myself. Like, more specifically, the Covenant hallways that we've seen in certain parts of High Charity and the Corvette in certain episodes. But I do dig most of the aesthetics in the show. I do sort of like the concept of the whole Blessed One thing. And honestly, I honestly like the look of the Prophets and the Elites. Honestly, I've said this before, but I've always thought that that specific look could have derived from a more early Covenant aesthetic, except of the more modern armor that we see here, honestly. But yeah, Maki. But in terms of like Maki's story, that one's kind of to me. I especially don't like the fact that Chief and her and Chief slept together. That's it's just that was like one of the most toxic takes in history of Halo, in my opinion. But the battle sequences between the Covenant and the UNSC have always been top notch, in my opinion. That definitely felt more Halo than most of the show, in my opinion. Alright, let's proceed onward. Right, so we have Prophet of Fabrication with a dozen questions, actually, which I approve. Has there been any cross-species relationships within the Covenant that we know of? At present, no. I don't believe so. I don't believe that there's been really any romantic relationships, but I do know that there has been a lot of mutual respect between certain members of the St. Healy Prophets and stuff like that. Our Tasvadam here actually has a treats his envoy with respect even when the Covenant was around. But in terms of relationships, in terms of romance, there has been none that we know of. Right. Another question from Fabrication is... Okay, let me just skip this cutscene. Right, so... Given there were population controls on both the Ungoi and Sanshayum, do you believe there were rules against measures of cross-species relationships? Oh, okay, that's mostly an extension of the previous question. Honestly, I doubt the prophets would have thought that there would have been any cross-species relationships, frankly, and I doubt that they really prioritized the control on that. So, bye! But yeah, I don't think that there's... Why is it so dark? Oh, jeez. Okay, I'm gonna slash all these. Jeez. Oh, sorry! You're in my way, dude. Yeah, I don't think there's been really any need for crowd control, because like I said before, I severely doubt that there were any cross-species relationships within the Covenant, honestly. Right, so moving on to another question from Fabrication. Given that there were human prisoners aboard High Charity in the first tower, do you think they were kept secret from the broader population of the Covenant, or were there excuses of taking prisoners as a mandate measure to gain information on other human populated world locations? Because it is to be assumed that there would have been an activation of the halos found by the prophets. That's a very good question on why they kept prisoners. Honestly, I don't really have a clear-cut answer for that one. Honestly, I think the only sensible answer for why they kept human prisoners was to question of certain military strengths or weaknesses of the UNSC. But in terms of populated worlds, I don't think that would have been much importance for the Covenant once they activated the Halo rings. I think the only sensible reason I think they could have had for keeping prisoners was to have like any ritualistic sacrifices at the prelude of the Great Journey beginning. Or like you said in your question, they would probably have been kept secret from the broader population of High Charity. All these floods always come out of this one hole here. Well, not all, but most of them. Oh, see? My point exactly. Oh, hang on. I'll answer some more questions and deal with these endless... Ah! Ooh, that was a big fling. Oh! Oh, and I think it should be established right now, but I had set for infinite ammo because I'm a basic bitch like that. Oh no! I always try to make it my secret mission to protect as many Sangheili as I possibly can. I don't care about Marines, but I want to protect the Sangheili. Oh, jeez. Oh, there we go. Uh-oh, did he kill my dude? Get away from him! No! He killed the Sangheili brother. Alright. So So, okay, I think that's it for fabrication, and we move on to Daniel. How's it going? And also, I hope Daniel's still in chat. His question is, what are your favorite movies? That's a good question. And basic bitch answer is the Lord of the Rings movies, including The Hobbit. And I know people hate the Hobbit movies, but I like them, so I will not repent on that. I like The Last Samurai from Tom Cruise. I like the recent Planet of the Apes movies, especially Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. What else? I like the Snyder cut of the Justice League movie. As for others, I can't really think of anything at the moment. I'm sure there's other films out there. Oh, also, technically isn't a movie, but I'm gonna count it anyway. Halo 4 and Unto Dawn. So it's technically not a movie, but a show, an online show. But I'm gonna count it as a movie because these days it's more compiled as a film rather than a show. Oh, all right. Where's the other? There it is. Oh, jeez. All right, hang on. Let me take care of some of these guys. There we go.
Demon has infiltrated the council chamber. Protect the hierarchs. Seal the exits.
I always wondered who is this speaking on the intercom. I've always, in my own head canon, I've always imagined that's Melkis, Tartarus' second in command, because he was alive during these events during Halo Broken Circle. He was the one that pretty much killed all the St. Healy counselors in the control room before the Arbiter showed up. And we do know that he was on High Charity when Belvedere led his resurgent St. Healy in the next mission after this one. Oh, hang on. Let me just take care of some of these groups and I'll answer some more questions. There we go. Alright, I'm just gonna pause. Just scroll down to some more questions. Alright. Okay. So we have Prophet Fabrication again. Hey, how's it going, man? He asked, is there any information on what the towers in the mission Gravemind in High Charity were called? In terms of their actual name, I can't really tell you, but I do know that those specific towers were in the Tower Districts. It was one of the upper classes, the upper districts of High Charity, where the San Chayum and St. Healy counselors resided in. But beyond that, beyond being like the official residence of high-ranking Covenant officials, there's not really much we know about them, really. Oh, hang on. Let me just take care of some of these grunts and... Oh, where are you? Frickin'. Come back here, you coward. There you go. Come on. Come on. There we go. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, Berserker. Counselor. There we go. Alright. So, another question from Fabrication. Aside from what we see in game missions, are there any more rooms or functions of the towers that we know of? Oh, I think there is, but I can't think of them on the top of my head. I know that they were mentioned in Broken Circle. and the encyclopedia by. There is, but I can't remember off the top of my head right now. I'm so sorry. There was a. Oh no, there was the. The Council of Confinement, I believe that was, where Zoe Reskin was brought to see the torture of the Saintly Counselors from the sadistic Prophet of Excellent Redolence. I think that is one. I believe that's one area of the Tower Districts that we saw that we've read from Broken Circle. I do know that there was some floating areas of High Charity's Tower Districts that there were floating palaces for high esteemed officials among the Sanshayun, but beyond that, I can't really remember their names, honestly. It's gonna drive me nuts. I'm sorry about that. Oh, sorry, that doesn't really answer your question there, Fabrication. Sorry. Okay, so his another question is, what period of history of the Covenant do you want to explore the most? Actually, that's a very good question. Actually, honestly, I think I would like to see the expansion of the Covenant, how they. I would like to see more of how they on the conflicts and periods where the Covenant integrated all the iconic races that we know of into their hegemony. Like, say, for example, the Hunters and the Jackals, the Grunts, the Brutes, and so on and so forth. And honestly, I would like to see a period where the Covenant formed the Fringe, where for those of you who don't know what the Fringe is, the Fringe is basically a collective of species that came under the dominion of the Covenant, but were less developed than the other races, and were less useful for the hegemony, where they were more like client worlds rather than full-fledged members. But back to the question at hand, I would like to see, like I said, I would like to see the expansion of the hegemony of all the races that were brought into the fold. I think that would be a period I would very much like to see. And I would also honestly like to see the political implications of adding these races to the Empire. Like how it would have affected, the Sangheili with the Hunters being brought in, or the Jackals when the Grunts were brought in. Because we do know some implications, but not all. It would be nice to see some political implications being sought into those time periods. I think those would be honestly very interesting in terms of books or even some other ancillary material. I don't know. Right. Hang on. His next question from Fabrication is, do the Hergog/engineers sleep? No, I don't believe they do. I believe it's established in Broken Circle that the Hergog don't really sleep or eat or do anything. All they really do is repair. That they always want to seek other Forerunner devices to repair or to assist the Covenant in any way. I think that's really what they do. It's like they're not an actual species, but they're more of a they're more like genetic machines, like more organic machines more often actually, made by the Forerunners to maintain their devices. It's kind of a mistake to label them as a species like any other in Halo. They're kind of more unique in that respect, if that makes sense. I'm not the best at explaining these things. I'm not the best at explaining these things without going into a full deep dive on them in a video, if that makes sense. Alright, so Fabrication has one last question at the moment. Hang on, let me just go down this grablet.
Here, Chief, jump in.
Whee! Okay. Fabrication asks, did the Covenant had any festive holidays they celebrated? How were they celebrated? For example, in our culture, Christmas, Easter, etc. Even then, what did the species of the Covenant think of them? At the moment, there is no real holiday that we know of that the Covenant or any species really celebrated. But I don't think it's unheard of that they had any terms of like holy holidays or something like that, holy events that they held sacred. I would imagine this during the time of the Covenant, the day of the Writ of Union signing would probably be a closest thing to a Christmas or Independence Day or something like that. And honestly, in terms of how they would celebrate it, it would probably be a very religious. They would probably celebrate in a very zealous religious way, kind of like how the Old Testament, pretty much an Old Testament sort of celebration, not really the kind of celebration we do nowadays. But I hope that somewhat answers your question, Fabrication. Yeah, at the moment there's not really much we know of about any festivities the Covenant really celebrated, other than the lighting of the Great Journey. Alright, so Matem asks, would you like for 343 to canonize scrapped Halo 4 Jackal concept arts as a new phenotype for the Jackals? Unfortunately, I can't pop up the picture he posted here, but it's a bunch of concept arts of different looks of Jackals, which honestly don't look that different from the Ibishan Kikyar from Halo 4 and 5. But yeah, Matem, the pictures you shown on the Q&A submission page is pretty much looks the same as the Jackals in Halo 4 and 5. And they've already canonized those. So, yeah, sorry that doesn't really answer your question there, my dude. Sorry about that. Daniel asked, alright, I hear you, Cortana. Alright. Come on. Oh, come on. Why are you coming back here? Come on. Freaking. There we go. Alright, where are the Marines? At the middle floor, where are they? Oh, is she over there? Oh, yeah, there they are. Okay, so Daniel asks, if you could create a Covenant Remnant faction of your own, how would it be? If I was going to create a Covenant Remnant faction, that's a very good question. I wouldn't really make them in terms of like a zealous religious order like most Covenant Remnant factions that we know of. I would make them more like an independent movement trying to make to envision a new St. Helios with actually, let me see if I can reword this better. If I were to make a Covenant Remnant faction, it would be less of a religious covenant and more like the Concert of Worlds, like the Arbiter introduced in Halo Outcast, as less of a religious religious alliance, and more like a jointly independent collective of other races trying to. Oh, what the? Where'd you come from? But more of a collection of different races trying to aid one another and trying to make a more independent, independent force, if that makes sense. Sorry that doesn't really answer it in a very good way. I'm not really the best in terms of. Oh, I'm sorry, my singular brethren. I'm sorry. I don't want to kill you, but I have to. All right. Okay. I'm gonna try and get rid of some of these Yanbi. Oh my jeez. All right. Time to go sword on. Oh, what? Come on. Jeez. I'm gonna have to hide here. Alright, so... Oh, why did it hide your name? I'm sorry, it says... Oh, but I know who it is. It's Optimal, I believe it's called. Sorry if I can't read your full name, dude. It's like shrouded behind Discord for some reason. But he asked, in War-Torn, what is the population of Vodar? That's a good question, and if I would have to estimate, I would say Vodar's population would probably be around, like within a couple thousand Sangheili in its population. Not really super populated in comparison to most Sangheili keeps or states. Simply because that Vodar is mostly a tundrous region, kind of like Norway of Sanghelios. So I would imagine it would be thinly populated as in comparison to other Sangheili states. All right, let me just grab this. Oh, shut up, Truth. The elites didn't fail to protect the prophets. You're just... Yeah. Thou in faith, my ass. You're just doing this so you can assert power of the Covenant, Truth. Freaking jackass. Sorry about that. Alright, let me take care of some of these mecha let go low. No. Come on. No. Come on. Come on. Die already, God. Damn it. Why aren't you dying already? There we go. Jeez, I'm freaking slashing these guys. Come on. Oh, hey, Jiggles. How's it going, man? And Super Bro, how's it going, man? You're not Venom, you're not Venom, Super Bro. Ah. You're not as cool as Venom. I joke. Oh, jeez. Finally! Ah, god damn it. Oh, Jewel and Coda. Oh, jeez. These two miscreants are in the chat. Oh, God. Hey, guys. Alright, let me just pause so I can scroll down and answer some more questions for you guys. Oh, hang on. I mean miscreants in terms of endearment, not in terms of insulting. Oh, Oh, if you're gonna say offended, do it right. Jeez. Okay. Right. So Daniel asked, dumbest Halo theory you have ever heard. Oh, jeez, there's a bunch of them. What is the dumbest? That's a very good question. There's a bunch of dumb ones, but I'm not sure about the dumbest one. Oh, I think this might not be the dumbest, but I think it's one that I've heard a lot. That I honestly think is dumb. That the Banished were actually able to destroy the Infinity within 4 minutes. That honestly, that's just kind of. A lot of people actually thought that was actually the case with the Banished actually destroying the Infinity. Of course, that would be more of an exaggeration on Escherun's part, but I seriously doubted that even with a powerful fleet like the Banished had, it would have destroyed the Infinity that quick. That would just be. Ugh. And honestly, I think one of the other dumbest. I think one of the other. Oh, shut up, Truth. You're a boomer, Karen. Okay, but back to the question. Oh, jeez. Another dumb theory is that. In amber clad, jeez, and the flood that's on it. Woo, bye. All right. Okay. Another dumb theory is that the Infinity is actually destroyed. I honestly don't think the Infinity is destroyed. That thing has always endured has always dealt with a bunch of punishment other than the Banished, and honestly to be destroyed like that would honestly just be kind of dumb. Really, I would say it's highly messed up by the Banished, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's destroyed. I think it's like somewhere out in the galaxy, missing but not destroyed. Where did you come from? I left you behind. Oh, jeez. There we go. Where the hell did you come from? Ugh, humans. Alright. Connor Lawson asked, what would the Covenant think of the Warriors of Chaos and Chaos Marines from Warhammer franchise? Would they peg them as heretics or for worshipping 4 different gods that are destructive, or would they leave them alone? AKA, the 4 gods are Kom, god of murder, Slash, god of excess and pleasure, Tezek, god of deceit and sorcery, and Nurgle, god of disease, death, and rebirth, death by rebirth, if you're not familiar with them. Yeah, Connor, I'm not at all educated in Warhammer lore, so I cannot answer that question. But if I had to answer him to the best of my ability, I would say that the Covenant probably would have thought them heretics for not believing in the Great Journey. So, yeah, Giggles, I'm not a Warhammer guy. I have no interest in Warhammer whatsoever. So if you pin me as a heretic, I don't care. But back to the question, Connor. Yeah, I don't know much about Warhammer lore, so I can't really help you in there, my friend. But all I can say is that the Covenant probably would have thought the people in question as heretics. Alright. Let me just take care of some of these guys. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. There we go. Oi! Get away. Get away. There we go. Alright. Right, we have Minister of Congression. Oh, jeez. Do you think... Oh, die! Okay. So... Oh, jeez. hold on. Let me pause and scroll up. Right. Hold on. Oh, Lucifer. Sorry. Sorry, Lucifer. I have no idea about. I'm not really good with pronunciations at all. So please don't crucify me if I mispronounce the names. Unless I actually hear the names being pronounced, I'm just gonna say as I read them. All right. So Minister Congression asks, what does Nakai think of Zaitan? Oh, Zaitan Jar Watinri? I think Nakai would have greatly admired Zaitan because Zaitan was like a legend among the Sangheili, so I would imagine Nakai would have probably idolized the man. In terms of his actual death, I think Nakai would have been shocked by his death. I don't think he would really have any prejudice against the humans. He would just thought it would just be another casualty of war. But I think in terms of I think Nakai would have thought Zaitan as one of the greatest Sangheili who had ever lived. But aside from that, that's a very good question. I'm going to have to think on that more. But at the moment, I'm going to have to say that Nakai thinks of Zaitan as a legend. Like so many other Sangheili do.
I have listened to the offer, and it confirmed our deepest hope. The great journey begins with the
They're falling back to the mausoleum. Fools. There are just nothing more than now.
Like I said before, I seriously think this brute in the intercom is Melkus. Just saying. Okay. Another question from Congression. He asked, would you want to see a book about a brute clan trying to find a new home after the destruction of Doisak? Yeah, that would be interesting. It would be interesting to see a book that's purely a Jirohanai perspective that doesn't make them sadistic and war-hungry killers. I think that would be a welcome change. Oh, no! Got berserker brutes. Leave me alone. No, no! Alone. Go and get the rest. Go. Freaking monkeys. Alright. Hang on. Alright, I'm just gonna hear for a second. Alright. Yeah, I would honestly like to see more books on different species of the Covenant. Oh yeah, Alduin, how's it going, man? He actually makes a good point. A book about Lytus and the children of Ausona would be a good place to start. Kind of like a good format for them. Or just some other random clan on Doisak that fled the planet before Cortan destroyed it. It would definitely be interesting to see how the brutes see a brute perspective on such a calamitous act. It would definitely make us like the brutes even more. Kind of like what we did with Shadow of Intent and Broken Circle with the San Shayum. I think a book like that for the Jirohanai after the raising of Asonin would have definitely increased more love for the species apart from their war-hungry ways. Alright. Connor Lawson asked, do you think the Kai would enjoy human foods like burgers, sushi, and other stuff? If so, how would he eat such said food? Sorry. Alright, hold on. Let me see if I can try and word this better. Do you think the Kai would enjoy human food like burger, sushi, and other stuff? If so, how would he eat such food? I think the Kai, like myself, I'm a very picky eater, and I usually stick to the foods that I typically enjoy. And I think the Kai honestly be the same way with St. Healy cuisine, and I really don't think he would indulge in any human foods. I think they would just seem too alien to him. Connor, if that answers your question. Another question for him, and another Nakai related question: what is his favorite animal from either St. Helios or Earth, or maybe both? Good question. I unfortunately don't have an answer for you. I think the only closest animal I think Nakai would like on St. Helios would be the Helios Squirrel, because I think he would greatly admire their strength and their ferocity. In terms of Earth, I don't think Nakai really knows much about human animals, so I don't think he would really form much of an opinion about them beyond simply reading them through historical text. I don't think you really have a favorite animal of anything, really. Oh, jeez. Where are you? Jump! We got stealth signal here. Where are you? Okay. Moving on to Daniel. What do you think is going to happen to Castor and Insign Gatagai after the events of Divine Wind? Very good question. That's a very good question. Actually, that's a very good question. Truth be told, I'm not entirely certain. I think they're definitely not going to the, back to the Covenant, to Daz Bosvad's Covenant. That's obvious. And honestly, I don't really see them being much of a... I really don't see them joining up with Aatrox back to the Banished at all, really. Honestly, I think the best thing they're gonna do is probably trying to activate a Forerunner super weapon, or probably reactivate the Legion of Retriever Sentinels that were shut down after Halo. Oh, jeez. Okay, I gotta run. Ugh. They might try to reactivate the Retriever Sentinels that were deactivated after the events of Hunters in the Dark. They might try to activate some Doomsday weapon, not reactivating the rings, or they might try something else. I honestly don't know. They could do a whole wide range of things to try and get revenge on both the Banished, the Covenant, and the Ferrets. But truth be told, I think they're just going to be an independent. They're just going to be an independent duo, just doing their own thing, really.
We're going to catch the truth. We'll need to take a shortcut straight through the mausoleum.
All right, I'm going to take care of some of these brutes.
We're interested in killing each other.
Oh, there we go. Oh, where are the St. Healy? Oh, there's young me. Hang on. Whoa. Oh, there's St. Healy. There's a St. Healy. Okay. Right, while waiting here, Daniel asks, what do you think about the Flood as a whole, considering their gameplay and their lore? I like their lore, but as a person who's not really into the whole zombie genre thing, I'm not really that big of a Flood fan myself. I've seen enough zombie genres for my liking, and I know that the Flood are more than just. I know they're more than just zombies. They're more than just sci-fi zombies. But truth be told, they're just to me they've always been annoying in terms of gameplay, and frankly, their lore doesn't really interest me as much as the Covenant or the Banished, or really even the UNSC, really. hope that answers your question somewhat, Daniel. Alright, so Matem asks, would you like to see Lydas in a future game? Yeah. Not really sure how he would be implemented into a game, but it would be interesting to see how he... It would be very interesting to see a brute like his design being brought into a game and stuff like that, and kind of be interesting to see how the Children of Alsonin would play as an ally or enemy faction. Because we know that the Children of Alsonin have worked with both the... have tried to work with the UNSC, or the Sword Sing Helios, and the Banished, so they might be more of a... That would try to be more of a pragmatic faction, trying to go with which faction serves their interests more, if that makes sense. Oh, get away! Well, alright. Matem asks, in another question, what UNSC frigate is your favorite? And he has a picture of both the Halo 3, Halo Reach, and Halo 2 Anniversary frigates. And honestly, I much prefer the Paris-class frigates seen in Halo 4. Or not Halo 4, Halo Reach. I've always liked them. They've always had a more... I don't know. They're like a more sleek design to them rather than the more... Oh. No, get away from me, you. Get away! It's more of a... The Paris is kind of more of a realistic vibe that I like more than Halo 3 or Halo 2 Anniversary myself. Oh, hang on, let me just pause. I can scroll down and answer some more questions. The last couple bits of questions. Right. Let me see. Alright, so Kota asks, what is the punishment for making an omelet from a Sangheili egg? That's a very good, that's a very easy question there, Kota. It is an eternity of watch duty in the ongoing mating chamber. So keep that in mind. Right. So Matem asks, do you think we might fight Celine Neon's Covenant in the future? Probably not in a game, but probably in like a book or a comic series. I highly doubt they're going to bring back Celine's Covenant as a main enemy faction, unless it's like a spin-off game, kind of like ODST. Alright. Allosaurus007 asks, could you answer my questions from the stream? No. Jokes aside, Allosaurus, yeah, answer as many questions, ask many questions as you want right now. I'll try and answer as many as I can before stopping the stream. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Okay, Connor asks, which Covenant species would enjoy human food? For example, would Grunt enjoy burgers and Kigyars would enjoy clam chowder? If so, what food do you think each species would enjoy? Right, we do know that Grunts typically enjoy seafood from Sangheili, human seafood. Kigyar, their palate is more distinct, if to put it lightly. I don't know if you saw from Hunt the Truth, but it's just an amalgamation of like eyelids and all sorts of disgusting stuff, really. So I'm not really sure that there's any food humans have that the Kigyar would like, really. As to others, brutes are more cannibalistic, so I would say they would probably like human meat, if that counts as food, human food, or probably raw steaks or something like that. Saying Healy, maybe chicken. I mean, their food kind of tastes like chicken according to Bad Blood. But honestly, it's kind of hard to know where food is, what food certain Covenant species like. Really, it's kind of difficult to narrow that down, really. Ugh. Okay. Ugh. Ugh. Come on, no! Oh, I thought he flung me off the edge. Die! There we go. Alright, so Daniel asked, joke question. Are Coda and Jewel the bane of your existence? Yes. They are the bane. They're the bane to my prophet's bane, if you get my meaning. But jokes aside, they're miscreants, but they're enjoyable miscreants. They're not breaking any rules, so they're not a nuisance. They're lovable fools, if that makes sense. Love you guys. All jokes aside, you guys are pretty entertaining folks, but mad lads, really. Okay, so I think this is going to be the last question for the Discord. Matem asked, would you like to see a game adaptation of Contact Harvest? Sure. I wouldn't mind seeing a Halo book brought into game, as long as they respect the material. As long as they respect the material, I don't care if they bring a book to game. As long as they respect like the details within the book and certain aspects. And certain games have actually done this, like in Halo Infinite, where John speaks Samuel's name as a code name to kill the weapon. I actually really like that, but yeah. Alright. Awesome, what is your deal with Covenant liking food, human food? Answering more questions here. What would be a favorite animal from Earth, each Covenant species in the main hegemony? Like wolves, bears, stuff like that. I don't think the Covenant species really care about like human animals, really. I don't think they would really care about that kind of stuff. But yeah. Alright, I think that's gonna be it for the questions from Discord. And let me see if I can answer Allosaurus's question. How many human and St. Healy colonies do you think are left or reestablished as of now in 2560? I think there's still a good amount of Covenant colonies out there, and as well as St. Healy colonies. I don't think they've really been destroyed during Cortana's rule. I think they've just been heavily oppressed, but they would probably still be around as they were post-Covenant War. I don't think it would really matter. The only world that isn't around since Cortana's rule was Doisac, and he brewed colonies out there, but aside from that, the other colonies have been okay, I think, for the most part. But yeah. Alright. Right, let me pause here and see if there's any questions in the live chat that I can answer. Okay. Matem asked, what if tomorrow you walked outside and you saw a brute chieftain running at you? What would you do? Very easy question there, Matem. I would book it. I would just book it. I would literally shat my pants, really. Lucifer asked, how punchable puntable? Puntable are the grunts? Puntable? What do you mean puntable? You mean puns or punchable? Do you mean punchable, Lucifer? I'm not really sure what puntable means. Sorry if I'm... Yeah. Okay, let me... Okay, Allosaurus asks, could you explain how the building of a Hurricane works? Honestly, I'm not really sure how a Hurricane is really created, really. I do know that they have, like, nests and stuff like that from ODST, but beyond that, I don't think so. I'm not really too familiar with how they're made. Okay, kickable. Okay. I would say in terms of brutes and elites, I would say they're very puntable, very kickable. As we saw in Halo Infinite, brutes love to freaking kick them about. So. Oliver, I am Covenant Canon. I do Covenant videos. Hey! Probably a very sarcastic question. Alright, Matem asks, how would you survive a Covenant invasion of your human colony during the Human Covenant War? I would probably just hide in the deepest hole on the planet as I possibly can, or hot tail it to a near spaceport, but aside from that, I don't really think there's much I can do to really survive that. But, alright. Alduin asks, who would you think win in a fight? Spec Ops Elite or an Ultra Elite? Honestly, I think a Spec Ops Elite would win because they're more adept in terms of infiltration and assassination, while Ultras are very skilled warriors. I think they would kind of have a disadvantage over a Spec Op, in my opinion. Alright, Allosaurus asks, do you know how often Covenant worlds were hit in the war by the UNSC with Nova bombs, etc.? We do know that there's been 2 colonies that were hit by Nova bombs. Joyous Exaltation, Cyclone Call, and Glicky. But beyond that, the planet of Zois was hit by Hell bombs during the events of Silent Storm. But aside from that, not a lot of Covenant worlds have been targeted by the UNSC. They were mostly on the defensive, really. Ah, slash. Okay. Oh, come on. Alright. Let me see. Alright. I think that's about it. I think with that, that's it for the live stream, guys. Like I said earlier, thank you all for joining up here. I'll answer this question before I close off. I'll answer one more question. I'll answer one more question for you, Lucifer, but that's it. Okay. Also, did the Covenant have anything close to war dogs or hunting dogs or similar? Or in a similar question, would grunts pet dogs? Because that sounds adorable. I don't think they really had any dogs or anything like that in comparison. I don't think they really did. I think the Hurricane were the closest thing dogs they really had. But yeah. Yeah, I saw Super Buff, but I'm going to leave that for next month. But yeah. Thank you guys all for joining up in the live chat. Thank you all for answering all your questions in Discord as well. I I will try to answer more next month. And yeah, thanks again, guys, for joining up. And I'm very happy to answer these questions before I head out to Worlds on Thursday. It's gonna definitely be an interesting trip because it's gonna be the first time I've really flown since I was like in middle school. So that's gonna be an interesting trip. But I'm so looking forward to meeting so many Palo community members, as well as Steve Downs, the voice of Cortana, and of course Keith David. But yeah, thank you guys all for joining. If you guys want your questions answered for next month, all you need to do is to go to the Covenant Canon Discord server, which is in the description box below. All you need to do is join up and submit your questions in the Q&A submission page. So with that, I think that's going to be the end of it. So have a good day, everyone. And as always, may the light of Horus guide your path. This is Covenant Canon, signing off.